Hello, Hana. Soul Dr. Nick here, and this is my daily musings for January 21st, 2025, day after inauguration. And please remember that this is not for you so much as it's for me. So I only anticipate 0 views on this. And if you decide to listen through, it's your choice. And know that it'll be a little rambling. And know that my practice now, I've already recorded 2 things. One was my general thing, kind of like this, and how do I refine it? And then my daily gratitude. And it's around 6 something a.m. here. And I've already been through the wake up just before 4 o'clock. My cat Baba woke me up. And then I've done my daily enema that has been such a practice for the past 500 plus days. And there's been so many things that have happened that I'm going to share about. So I can actually anchor myself into where my current reality is. And I've recognized that what I want to do is create shorter, specific videos, and those will be the ones targeting audiences, because then you actually get to just pick up the thing you want to pick up versus this whole rambling chat, which I wouldn't want either. And this is seeding future podcasts, because there's so many things to talk about. There's so much that can come out of a free-flowing conversation. And I look forward to having interviews with people, both while I'm the interviewer and while I'm the interviewee, because I recognize there's a lot of things that I'm bringing together that I'd like to share. And a lot of these ideas may feel half-baked right now, and that's okay. I don't need to be a fully baked expert in all ways, because I want to be on many shows and I'm not going to be there yet, whether it's the Know Thyself, Chris Williamson, whether it's Diary of a CEO, whether it's Aubrey Marcus, whether it's being on with Dr. DeMartini, whether it's being on Joe Rogan, whether it's being on Dr. Kelly Brogan. There's so many of these shows that I want to be on where the line of questioning may be so intense. Charles Epstein, Zach Bush, even Alex Jones, let's put that out there for fun. I'm saying these names just because they're names that come to mind, not because those are the podcasts I need to be on. And I want to say it out loud to be like, what are we calling in? What are we making space for? And so yesterday, I was in a period of shame and guilt. Oh my God, I'm not working on my website, Ohana Sage, as much as I should be. I'm having trouble, I'm having blocks. And then today realizing, I'm so grateful I had those troubles, blocks. I spoke to one of my co-founders, Marika, and she helped guide me back to, okay, what's the most important thing for me to do right now? And part of it I recognize is, how do I actually speak up for when it's not my highest and best right now? And it doesn't mean that I don't try again and again and again to take on a role and see what's there. Whether it's incorporating more AI into my own workflow, because I want to bring consciousness to AI, and part of it is understanding AI. And that may not be the thing to do right now, because I've got important conversations. Today I'll be speaking with my Ohana Brotherhood. And so that's my most important conversation today. And that's what I really want. And then, for those who don't know, the Ohana Brotherhood is a mastermind group that we created a few years ago that closed last year, and that we want to meet again because it's been so much going on and there's such a trust that's been built. So what's next? Well, then yesterday it proceeded to go from that to more meditations, to having time to myself, to watching a little bit of Shogun as well, and the inauguration. Shogun, the TV show, which really helped remind me there's different ways of looking at the world and of reality, of noticing that the Western way isn't better, but we feel that way, like, oh, it's all about me and my satisfaction in this lifetime. And the Eastern way, especially in a world where there's earthquakes all the time, we live, we die, we don't know when. So we have choices to make, and the structures they've created, houses go up quickly, they go down quickly. Serve them at that point in time. And they listen to the omens more. They gave meaning to them, because words have meaning. When you say something, you touch this, you die, they actually follow through. So be very careful what you say. And I notice in my own lack of clarity, I say lots of things carelessly. And part of it for me is because that's the patterning I've been raised up in. You can say things and then say, oh, I didn't mean that. Versus in that feudalistic culture and honor-based culture before, you said something, you meant it, and your life could be forfeit. And in that kind of society and patterning, the people that survive that long truly are very clear, because if you weren't, you would have committed suicide or been killed long ago. You wouldn't have had the chance to develop your skills to that point. And whether right or wrong, there's a benefit to that. There's less of the common outliers. There's more exceptionalism, but at the cost of death. And is that what we really want? And then I watched the inauguration for the first time and listening from a different lens. Not right or wrong, agree, disagree, but what's curious, what sparks my interest? Oh, we're gonna travel outside our planetary system to another planet? Oh, we're taking a look at how we want to educate. Oh, we're taking a look at what the laws were, the incentives were. And how do you take a look at that differently and say, what is the message here? Who is the message for? Where's the soundbite gonna go? And I'm glad to watch the source material, or as much of the source material as possible, because it feels even this source material is modulated, right? Whoever helped write the speech helped modulate things and change things. And that was really fun and interesting to do. And then creating a breath yesterday. I had a breath with a dear friend who I've worked with for years. And we were doing a breath regarding energy, vitality, and health, because he was feeling a lot of pressure, a lot of tension, left side of the head, splenic area, lower bowels, and then recognizing through the breath, trying to do it right or wrong, not enough, all these stories. And for me, helping to see, what are the quality of the questions you're asking? There's so many why questions, which are head-based, left-brain questions, versus what? What is the lesson here? What is my body trying to tell me? Can I listen without having to make it wrong or right? Can I try not to fix everything or see this as a problem to solve, but rather an opportunity for learning, for growth? And it's such a difference shifting that area and then recognizing we're not trying to come to a place of total resolution. And that's partly sometimes what we're trying to do in Western medicine. Now, I want to do a test to tell me if I'm doing it right or wrong. If it's negative, I'm doing it right. If it's positive, I'm doing it wrong. And then as well, when it's done, I'm healed. I'm cured of cancer, versus I'm always in a state of ease and dis-ease. And if I only want one, then I'm actually getting myself in trouble. Every bodily function, heartbeat, breath, eating, eliminating, is a push and a pull, and polarities. And so that was beautiful to see, and it was a reminder to me, because I went into that a little bit tired, and I was so energized and enlivened by it. It's a reminder that this is what I want to be doing right now. It doesn't mean it's what I want to be doing forever, especially in this way. And I'm told my sessions are 2 hours right now, because that's where my level of skill is right now. And eventually, with more skill, I may be able to do this in 5 minutes, and then it's a choice. Do I want to do it in 5 minutes? Is that what I really want to do? Do I want to do it in 5 seconds? And then does it have the same durability of impact? And if not me, then who do I create to support them for the durability of impact? Because that's part of it as well. It goes back to Ohana Sage. You'll be hearing about this soon, about whether we want to call it a soul immersion, a soul journey. And from there, it's not just creating impact, but durability of impact, regularity of impact, and noticing these different things. Not just having a transcendent experience, but having life be transcendent. And that's what I'm noticing now more and more with my daily practices. There's a daily part of transcendence, a daily part of today's going to be a wunderbar day, whatever comes up. And being able to notice that the wunderbar part, the awesomeness, is from within. The external circumstances will keep changing. And thank you, life, for the challenges that I've been with over the 6 months, and challenges that I've still been able to see the wunderbar in it. And then this morning, I have the Way meditation. It's an app that I learned from Tim Ferriss, and I've been doing it for the past year, and I've done over 500 of them. And normally I do 3 or 4 of them in the morning. And because I only had one downloaded and I wanted to not use as much data, I wanted to stay off the internets, I had to switch to something else. And I'd actually downloaded Tim Ferriss's podcast with Naval and Andre Summer, I think it is. And they're looking at sovereignty, the sovereignty of a child. And I'm so grateful for that, because divine sovereignty is one of our pillars, one of the pillars that came to with the work that I do. And sovereignty, being able to make choices, and helping me to see that that's part of how I've wanted to raise Sage, and it's not easy. Our patterning right now is that we're supposed to follow rules as right or wrong, that someone else gets to impose them, especially the parents or authority figures. And in doing so, what we've lost is our own decision making, our trusting of our own internal value system, gut, our intuition following our heart. What it serves in society is it's easier to change the masses of people when they're used to following rules. And not good or bad, but if you want everyone to run away from a volcano without having to explain a volcano, and you just tell them you have to do this when this alarm sounds, sometimes it's easier. It's that Pavlovian response. But we forget why we respond that way in the first place. And that's part of what I've noticed for the work that I do. In a way, it'd be easier if I was working with children who don't have all these deeply ingrained patterns thinking that they're just what reality is. Whether it's thinking that this is how money works, or thinking how this laws work, or thinking of right and wrong, or how marriages work, or raising children work, or health works, or dis-ease works. And I wouldn't have such an opportunity if this isn't the world that it currently is. And I'm grateful for this opportunity. I'm grateful because we can make such a change in such a short period of time. And I'm grateful to notice that for my own son, because it's important. Right now, we're in a critical stage. He's 4 years old. How do I actually support his own sovereignty in amidst all of the stuff that matters? I want to keep him safe. I don't want him to run out in front of cars. I don't want him to destroy his health. And I can recognize my own growing up. I went from, oh, don't get married, focus on school, to get married, have kids. And how do you know how to do that if you haven't been doing that and learning about your own body, your own sexuality, your own desires, your own wants, your own passion, your own connection, your own ability to develop deeper, more meaningful relationships with others instead of just developing yourself. And then noticing that with my own son. Like, I give him the sovereignty to hit my body because I think it's important that he learns how to express physicality through his body. I give him the sovereignty to be able to choose more of his bedtime, his food, things like that. And I'm working with my beloved because we have different ways of doing things. And how do we find not the middle ground, but the ground that we actually want to come to when we come up with things where there are differences? And we're shifting away from the idea of schooling to education, to unschooling, and recognizing the challenge in that. It's so much easier to do what everyone around is doing because that's the pattern. And I will get positive reinforcement from others. Yay, you're choosing the same thing as me. Therefore, what I'm doing is right as well, and I want to support you in doing the right thing. It's harder in some ways to do something different, especially with your own parents, because there's a part that will take it as, you're telling me that I did something wrong. No. Can we see that we're going to keep evolving? I wouldn't be able to make these choices without the path that I'd went on. And part of our life and our desires to keep being able to shift with the times, with the needs of the times. With the needs of the times. And so even what I'm doing right now is going to keep shifting. And my values are going to shift. And so many different ways of looking, so many different ways of being. Thank you for being here. I'm going to keep practicing doing this daily for the rest of January. Ciao for now.